out so that we could potentially put together, a virtual set of notes so that in the future, when we get more familiar with looking at these jobs, we can hopefully, know which terminologies and words to pull out. And I've taken 3 columns here, as you can see, that we will be using as part of the exercise. And as we go through this and do this together, I will just type these words in that you guys come up with. At the end of the day, at the end of this, we'll even talk about maybe a bill rate range that potentially for this position. Okay? So let's get started. The first one is mystery job number 1. So take a minute to look through this. I'm not going to read it out loud. I'll let you guys just read it on my screen. And what I want you to keep in mind is that first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this first column here. Industry related. Okay, so when you guys are reading the job description, think about what industry this could be in. Okay, it's usually going to be 1 or 2 words here. Second thing you want to pay attention to is what are the job functionality terms in this job description. Okay, so for example, I have agile methodology, scripting, those kind of things that are functional work items that this job, whoever's going to do this job has to perform. And the last piece is what are the skills that a candidate would need. Because what happens is this job word goes to the recruiter, and at that point, the recruiter is going to want to really figure out which resumes line up to this job order. And so if we can help pick out some of those skills, now that's different than job functionality. It could be the same, but for the most part, one is performing the action, the other one is I have this skill set, right? So it could be soft skills, it could be technical skills. I want you guys to pay attention to these 3 categories when we go through this job order, and then just start spitting it out, and I'll just start writing down a set of notes. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to the first one. So go ahead and read this. Take about 30 seconds to read through this, and then I'll start asking people to volunteer questions, volunteer answers.
Gaming industry.
Okay.
Telecom.
Anything else this position could apply to industry-wise? So far we have gaming and telecom. And I'll jump back and forth, so apologize since we can't have it screen by screen to type.
So, Tony, are we looking for words specifically in this job description?
You're trying to pull out this job description and determine what industry you think a job like this applies to, industry-wise. Okay.
Okay, so it's not necessarily specifically mentioned in there.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I particularly took that out, actually, and I purposely took that out.
Gotcha. Okay.
We don't know the company name here.
Yeah, no, those would be the 2.
Okay. Anybody else?
It would be hard for me to pick a company that wouldn't apply to.
Well, what other industries could this apply to, Tom?
Other industries?
Yeah.
Oh, anybody that has a mobility play.
Okay.
For example, healthcare or retail.
Okay.
Banking.
Okay.
Anybody that has a mobility play that needs to test their device.
Any company with a digital marketing mobile initiative.
Okay. Good. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll stop there. Those are yeah, I would agree. It really can it's purposely vague, right? So anybody can take this job description and apply it to the company name. All right, second thing you guys want to look for, job functionality terms. So what are some terms and keys in here that jump out that a person like this is going to have to perform when they're on the job?
Test planning and then manual testing.
Black box.
I'm sorry?
Black box.
Black box? Okay.
The SDLC, the understanding of that?
Very good. Actually,
no. Not really the functionality, right?
Well, actually, no. Actually, you're partially correct because I actually have it up here, agile methodology. So performing as part of the SDLC actually would actually live here as well too. So in this one of those cases where your skill behind it is also going to be part of your job. So there's going to be a lot of this in common. So that's good, Kristen. Anything else?
Go back to
Back to the sheet.
yeah, I guess the written part, is that pretty important, the writing of the results?
Oh, so
Documentation?
yeah, absolutely. Documentation, reporting.
And also, even though we're saying testing, it specifically does say regression testing.
Yes, you're right. Regression testing. So testing regressions, test regression cases. Anything else in here that we might have missed? I see like 2.
Logging bug defects.
There you
Logging and the bugs and defects.
Very good, Jason. Okay, let's do logging. Logging.
How'd you know that was me?
Sounds like you.
Would the troubleshooting be part of it?
Troubleshooting actually would live here. It's a skill, right?
I'm still learning this stuff, Tony, you know?
No, but still ask. No, don't apologize for it.
Don't apologize.
I'm kidding. I was being a little,
Throw it out there. So
being a little
you're probably saying something somebody else is afraid to say.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this. We're doing this together. No, but you called it out, right?
I was going to say troubleshooting as it related to and preferred qualifications, initiative to determine product issues.
I'll tell you what. I'll call troubleshooting out here too. So yes, that's not. It's not inclusive to one area. I'm sorry, Gail. Can you repeat what you said there? You said.
Go back to the page. Determine product issues and effectiveness. So they've got to be able to, kind of dig in and analyze, right?
Okay. Would that be a skill or a job functionality?
Both.
Actually, I would. Yeah.
Skill.
So yeah, I'll put it as skill. Analyzing issues. That's kind of what you said. So you have to have that's true, right? You need to have a type of a mentality, right? You want someone. If you're gonna hire someone, this person has to be analytical, right? It's kind of a skill that they need to have. Okay, I guess we're now on this side of the column, unless you guys have more. Any what other things jump out that now that when you're trying to determine a skill of a candidate, what's jumps out here?
Well, I was just going to say that the first, being an expert at understanding the devices, right? The phone that they're working with.
Device knowledge, good. That's the other reading word. That knowledge of device testing, absolutely, right?
And then part of the whole strike a Q thing is we wouldn't know this because it's a mystery job, but you also want to know what their experience is if it's needed to have industry experience. So like if it was gaming or if it was like
okay,
Mozilla, right. You need to have that, or if it's AT&T, do they need to have
experience?
Just industry knowledge.
In the industry.
Right.
Applying for right.
And we don't know that because that's part of the strike a Q. Do we even know to even ask?
Well, you're absolutely right, because let's say if you're a game tester, you're going to be a little bit different than a web tester. There is a difference there. Because there's terminology, there's acronyms, there's culture, there's process, things like that. If you have and people are they operate a little differently, but certainly that's a very good point, and that's going to be true for everything else. Okay, anything else before we move to the next one?
Well, one other thing you want to look for is the type of testing they're doing. For instance, like you just mentioned, are they going to be doing iOS testing? Are they doing web testing? Are they doing are they doing the browser? Or are they doing the device?
So
that actually can happen. Like we started at AT&T just doing devices, and then we went to browsers, and then we needed people that were just iOS or were just IE or Chrome or whatever. So just whatever There you go.
There you go. So you're right. So if you're a web tester, you got to know the web platform. If you're a mobile tester, in this case, we know it's mobile. You're gonna have to know mobile platforms and tools. So good. Okay, that's good. I think that's a very comprehensive list. Last question. What do you think a bill rate range would look like for someone like this? And this is where you guys can talk to each other and share experience there.
40 to 60.
40 to 60.
$1 million.
He says with his pinky.
Does anyone else agree with Gail or disagree?
We've had them as high as 55 to 65, but I also know Mozilla was lower as is AT&T Lab. So I would go 40 to 60. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Hey, do I get a prize?
You do. You do. You get to look for one of these guys and bring them on board. Now that you have this knowledge.
Let me start picking up rocks.
All right. So thank you. So mystery job number 1 was actually a real job, and it was actually called mobile device tester. And this.
Be a requirement. That's why I thought gaming was the industry.
Well, because gaming also has mobile, right? You can actually test applications these days in that are mobile application games. So the skills are really similar, right? You understand form factor testing. You understand at what point does your device run out of memory, or because or the application is running pretty heavy, or so that's any app. It really is what Tom was alluding to earlier. Anything that has mobility play in this case, and gaming is one of them, which you actually brought up, is will play for the fact that these skill sets apply. Okay, let's move to the next one. We're short on time here. So mystery job number 2. So this one's a little more harder. So we'll take a look again, read through this one again, and then things you're looking at first is going to be your industry related, and then job functionality, and then skills that a candidate would need to possess. So what words jump out here in the industry?
User experiences, so they're probably testing the front end from the first bullet.
Okay, so what industry would that fall under?
Could be any at this point. Let me shut up and read the thing.
I think it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a product.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about digital service teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that doesn't, again, it didn't narrow it down.
It's a more senior role, right?
Yeah.
It's a progressive organization.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's, it can be any industry.
Mhm.
Any industry. Okay. So you're saying like this could apply to healthcare, it could apply to retail, it could apply to software, it could apply to telecom.
Based upon that job description, I think it could.
Okay, so let's write it down, right? Telecom. I mean, yeah, and this is interesting. I mean, it's important to know that, because then you realize that some of these job descriptions are written very generically. And by the way, a lot of times if you're looking at Dice or those kind of sites out there, and you're looking at other companies posting your jobs, if you look really carefully, some of them are taken from other people's jobs. Just copy and paste it and change a few words around, because it's all interchangeable, right? The task and the functionality. So this just really to get a chance to exercise to take a look.
Kristen mentioned it's a product.
Product.
I agree with her.
Product-based company. Right. That's a good point, because that means if it's a product, that means it's not like a solutions company.
Service.
Not a service. Yeah.
Right.
Not a service. Good. Okay. Next one. So that's good. Job functionality. What jumps out of here that you'd want to first thing you guys notice that this.
Hey Tony. It's Debbie. This is an advanced agile development team. You've got TDD. You have a product owner.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely an agile team.
So agile, Functionality, TDD.
Yeah, they're doing TDD, so that's
Right there in the first in the title.
Yep.
What else?
Everybody know what a TDD is?
test-driven development.
Okay.
Anybody know what that means?
No.
We'll talk about it another time.
Could also stand for technical design doc, but here it doesn't.
Yeah, this has become industry term for software engineers. What else? What job functionalities here? Just even this sentence here. What do you guys see out here?
I mean, the creation of the test script.
Yeah.
Starts with an A.
Yeah, automated test scripts, right? That's even more important. So, creating okay, that's definitely going to be a main functionality of the job, or at least one of them means one. What else?
Is acceptance testing different than the creation of the automated test script? Is the acceptance testing different?
Acceptance testing is a result of your automated test scripts. It doesn't automated test script isn't necessary for acceptance only, but it can be for acceptance.
Okay.
But the key here, I mean, you brought up a good point, right? In fact, acceptance. If you're going to say I create automated test scripts, you're going to be assumed that that you are writing them for acceptance, or it could be non-acceptance. But you're basically writing test scripts. What they do with those test scripts is really up to the product and the company. But the key functionality here is you're going to be writing these things in automated fashion versus manual. But certainly, acceptance testing is a result of what your test scripts will be done with. How about this one right here? Okay, this key right here, this is a key term, exploratory testing. That's not automated testing. Exploratory testing is actually picking up a device or a product and going through different scenarios that you can think of that isn't necessarily followed in a test plan. And the other one that I just called out here was assisting pair programming with another team. Pair program is actually means you pair up like a buddy, and you sit there, and is the industry term in Agile where you actually work together with a developer. So a tester and developer would sit together, and literally work together as a buddy for like 2 weeks. And so this actually pair programming is actually a skill that you would adopt as well as a task. I'll put that over as a skill set as well. So understanding pair programming, actually Agile.
Hey Tony, can I add something with that since I've worked in that environment?
Of course.
So not everybody is cut out for pair programming. A lot of times it's one of those things that until you actually experience it to actually like it. So it's interesting when you get into environments and people are starting pair programming, and you'll find some people love it, some people don't love it. So I always try and get the maturity of the team, find out how long they've been doing it, and then on the candidate side or consultant side, really digging in to see how long they've been doing it and what their experience is.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, because when you're out there recruiting and looking for resumes, right, and people that are a fit for this job, like you said, they might realize that they not only may not have the experience. They may be like, well, this wasn't cut out for me, So it's important as a question to when you're probing them or reviewing their resume and you're having a call with them, and you bring up the fact that you'll be doing pair programming for this job. They might say, oh heck no, that's not for me, no thank you, instead of scaring them later, right? So, but they'll see that in the job description. Okay, anything else in job functionality and I guess skills at this point? Skills and job functionality that you guys could pull out of this? We didn't even cover stuff down here yet, and I'm rushing you guys a little bit. But.
Strong communication skills.
Okay, good. Oops. Actually, that's very important. It's not just easy to say kind of thing. It's actually a you'll find people in the industry that don't have that skill set, that soft skill. It's very common to not have strong communication skills for engineers at some point. So it's not to be looked at lightly. Well, this looks like a requirement to me, straight up, right? They're looking for a degree, a science degree, that's something that you probably want to capture. Now, whether that's really important to the client or not, sometimes it isn't. But if it's in the job description, they probably want to screen out some resumes. Two more. Either a job functionality skill or a candidate skill.
Can you scoot down to show the preferred skills?
Oh, yes. That's it.
Okay.
How about team leadership?
Okay.
Documentation, technical writing.
Yep. Question for you guys, just as a side here. You guys see these resumes all the time, or these job descriptions where it says required or minimum or must have, and then preferred. How do you guys interpret the differences?
Well, one is a must-have, one is a desired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta break them out into what skills are must-haves or required, like Debbie said, and what skills are nice to have. You really got to get to what's the must-have.
Yeah, and in my experience, sometimes I see, even though that's broken out that way, when they get into the interview or when you have a resume in front of someone to review, they often conflate that. It really does become, in my experience, it can be very subjective. Someone might say, oh, I know it says preferred skill here, 10+ years, but maybe that hiring manager really cares a lot about technical writing. So in his mind, it is a minimum required, even though it doesn't break it out. So sometimes that can be confusing to candidates that apply, as well as trying to get the job description nailed down. So I would just a note there that it's not always black and white. One says a nice to have versus one's required, because people can get that conflated. I've seen that all the time, especially with tools. People might say preferred, you have experience in this tool and that tool, but really at the end of the day, they want you to have it. And if they're going to want you to have it, you might as well put it in the minimum required. So be on the lookout for those things. Okay. All right, bill rate range for a position like this.
Oh, 80 to 90 an hour.
Any rebuttals?
70 to 85. Maybe 90.
Anybody else? Okay. This position is 12574. Is actually it is a performance automation engineer. We actually have this one out right today. This is I think trying to hire this for Kaiser, but here the actual answer to this one I think was $100 to $125 range. I'm not sure if that's even the right number or not. But that is what the bill rate says according to this job, which I'm a little shocked, but I guess maybe the 10-year part throws me off. Okay, I wish I could get the other two, but I want to respect your guys' time. But hopefully this was helpful. We can do with the other two next time. What I want to do is this. I call this part 1, breaking down QA keywords and job descriptions. What I want to do next time we do a tech talk is do part 2, breaking down QA resumes or job keywords in resumes. That way you guys can see when someone submits a resume, how close is that to something like this? In fact, what we'll do is we'll go back to these particular jobs and we'll pull up some of the submissions, and then you guys can help determine if they have a lot of the skills that you see here that you wrote or not. Okay, any questions? All right, that's it. We'll end now then. So thank you everyone for your time, and enjoy that weekend.
Everybody have a great weekend.
Thanks.
Bye,
for
everyone.
that.
See you guys.